Hello, it is 9 p.m. in RTD's time to English New Edition. For tonight headlines, we have the signing of a memorandum of understanding between Djibouti and the Italian Medor Foundation. The East African community moves towards a single digital market to facilitate business activities. Welcome to our newsroom. The Republic of Djibouti condemns the statement directed against the brotherly kingdom of Saudi Arabia, which aims to distort its regional role and undermines its effort to strengthen security and stability in the regions. The Republic of Djibouti reaffirms its full solidarity with the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia and commends the positive and central role it plays in consolidating regional security and peace, supporting political solutions to conflict and promoting dialogue and cooperation among the countries of the region, all in the services of the interests of their peoples and the preservation of their security and stability. The Republic of Djibouti further affirms that the continued escalations in the Red Sea, as well as the attacks targeting the security of international maritime navigation, constitute a grave threat to regional security and stability, jeopardize the freedom of navigation and international trade, and directly harm the interests of the peoples and countries of the region. This situation requires concerted regional and international effort to preserve the security of the vital shipping lanes and ensure their safety. In Roma, a high-level dialogue brought together Italian authorities and the Djiboutian delegations to discuss prospects for strategic economic and security cooperation. The discussions highlighted Djibouti's geostrategic position as well as a true crossroad between Europe, Asia, and Africa, as well as its key roles on the Mediterranean Bab-el-Mandeb Indian Ocean axis. The Minister of Economy and Finance, Ilyas Moussa Dawale, reaffirmed Djibouti's commitment to supporting the Mati Plan, the Italian initiative aimed at strengthening partnership with African countries. Discussion is also focused on strategic infrastructure, maritime security, and sustainable investment. Both parties reaffirmed their commitment to consolidating a partnership based on co-development and shared prosperity. Also in Rome, cooperation between Djibouti and Italy was further solidified by an agreement with the Medor Foundation. This partnership focuses on strategic infrastructure, digital technology, and geopolitical dialogue. The document was initiated by the Minister of Economy and Finance, Ilyas Moussa Dawale, and Umberto Tavolato, Director of a special project at the Foundation. The agreement is structured around three priorities: the development of critical and submarine infrastructure, leveraging Djibouti's geostrategic positions as a crossroad between Europe, Africa, and Asia, and strengthening geopolitical dialogue through seminar conferences and joint initiatives. This partnership aims to promote economic development, skills transfers, and the security of strategic infrastructure. Both parties also reaffirmed their commitment to transparency and adherence to international good governance standards. After addressing economic and strategic issues, the focus shifted to preserve cultural heritage. In Tajora, a technical mission is examining the progress of the Aburma Rock Art Sites nominations to UNESCO. A technical mission is from the Ministry of Youth and Culture visited Tajora yesterday to assess the progress of the nominations and strengthen the sites protection mechanisms led by the senior technical advisor, Mr. Idris Musa Ahmed. The ministerial delegation, which also included technical advisor and the director of regional affairs, was welcomed in Tajora by local authorities, notably the prefect of the region, Mohammed Hamid Abbas, the president of the regional council, Idris Ambassa Mohammed. A technical meeting was held to review the status of nominations, the conservationist measures undertaken, and the implementation of the SICE 5-year management plan. The mission then traveled to Rwanda, where it met with members of the Aburma Local Management Committee in the presence of representatives from local community leaders, associations and residents. Discussions focus on the importance of preserving this exceptional heritage as well as the central role of local populations in its protection and enhancement. Participants reaffirmed their commitment to supporting national effort to ensure the site's long-term preservation. Through this mission, the Ministry of Youth and Culture reaffirms its commitment to promoting Djibouti's cultural heritage and to successfully submitted the Aburma Rock Art Site for inscriptions on the UNESCO World Heritage List. We continue with another aspect of the national news: consumers' protections and monitoring markets. Supply in Obok, a price and stock control mission was conducted by the Ministry of Trade and Tourism. The objective was to verify the availability of essential goods, ensure compliance with approved prices, and detect any expired product. Conducted in collaboration with the National Gendarmerie, the operation resulted in the seizures and destructions of goods unfit for consumption. Sanctions were also imposed on economic operators accused of price gouging. The Ministry of Trade and Tourism calls on merchants to strictly adhere the regulations and reiterates that any violations that negatively impacts consumers' purchasing power will be met with appropriate measures. These control operations will continue in various regions of the country to strengthen market transparency and consumer protection. And for his part, the advisory to the Ministry of Trade and Tourism calls to the price of goods calls on merchants to strictly adhere to regulations and reiterates that any violations that negatively impacts consumers' purchasing power will be met with appropriate measures. We now turn to our regional page with a focus on digital ambitions on East Africa. The East African community is continuing to establish a single digital marketplace to facilitate online trade and the activities of technology companies in its 8 member states. This project aims to accelerate regional digital transformation, stimulate innovation, and strengthen economic integration. For the international scene, beyond regional digital integrations, international news remains dominated by major economic and energy challenges. Syria and Iraq have signed an agreement to rebuild and recommission the Kirkuk-Banias oil pipelines, which has been out of services since 2003. This strategic infrastructure, which could transport up to 2 million barrels of oil per day, aims to strengthen the region's energy export capacity. We turn to Europe, where several regions are facing an emergency situation related to the wildfires. Several forest fires in southern France have led to evacuations of more than 10,000 people, including residents and vacationers mobilized with significant air and ground resources. Emergency services are continuing their effort to contain the flames, which are being fanned by the heat, drought, and winds. Also, in Europe, the news is dominated by a new standoff between European authorities and tech giants. And finally, we concluded these editions with the United Nations, where a new stage of is beginning in the race of the position the new stage is beginning in the race for the positions of the Secretary General. The candidate for the UN Secretary General presented their visions during a public sessions in New York, focusing on reforming the organization's preventive diplomacy and managing international crises. The Security Council must now begin its closed-door consultations before proposing a name to the General Assembly for approval. And this is it for the news. Thanks for watching us. Have a good evening.